Hey friends, my name is Steve Guttenberg, and I am the audiophiliac, and today I want to talk about audio myths. Myths will be busted, and some myths, well, may not be so busted, but they're commonly held myths, so let's get right to it. First one is that crazy expensive audio, $100,000 speakers, $200,000 amplifiers are BS. Well, they could be, but they aren't just by virtue of their price. I mean, I've heard my share of silly, expensive audio, but I've also heard my share of really incredible, insanely expensive audio that blew my mind. Now, it didn't happen ever, should I say ever? Well, almost never at a hi-fi show. That's not a place to hear a finely tuned system in a hotel room or a convention center. That ain't gonna happen. But in a well set up system in someone's home, absolutely, positively mind-roasting experience. And when I come home to my very nice $50,000 hi-fi, it's just a little tiny pittance compared to what I've heard there in terms of feeling the music, experiencing the music on a whole completely different level. A well-chosen, very expensive high-end system, well set up in a room with good acoustics will just blow your mind. But it has to check all three of those boxes. It has to be the right equipment, has to be really well set up, and it has to be in a good sounding room. Because if you have great stuff and your room sucks and you have tile floors and glass mirrors all over the place, it ain't going to sound good. Okay, that's myth number one. Myth number two is that custom in-ear headphones are comfortable. No, not to me, because having a big chunk of plastic in my ear doesn't feel good over a period of hours. It does a great job, a better job than blocking external noise than a universal fit headphone. Absolutely, definitely. But in terms of comfort, no, just because it's custom molded, well, it's custom molded and because it's a big hunk of plastic and it conforms to the contours of your ear, it does a good job blocking noise, but it's not comfortable. Yeah, I wish they were, but they're not. Myth number three is that analog is better than digital or digital is better than analog. Well, those are easy things to say. Oh, analog, LPs blow away. Well, I think it more depends on the quality of the recording itself. The choices made in making a recording, the microphone choices, the mic preamp choices, the compression choices, the equalization choices, the processing choices, how things were overdubbed and mixed, reverb, all those things determine, in my opinion, the quality of the sound of a recording. Now, whether that recording winds up on an LP or a CD, that's further down in my priority list of what determines whether something sounds good or not. So A doesn't sound, in my opinion, that A isn't automatically better than D, or D isn't automatically better than A, meaning analog or digital, right? They're not, one doesn't trump the other, again, in my very humble opinion. Next one is DSP, digital signal processing for room correction or speaker correction. A lot of people believe that room correction or speaker correction works miracles. Well, it could. I think a lot of times it's the execution of how the DSP is used that determines how well it works. It's not a magic bullet that you just turn it on and automatically it's wonderful. I mean, I've known people that really had problem rooms and wanted to believe that room correction would make a huge difference. And you know what? It does. But the thing is, it corrects the obvious problems. Oh, I have a really bad bass resonance at 110 hertz. You do that room correction, bass correction, you have big resonance at 110 hertz, and you do the DSP and the room resonance goes away. That's good. You know, you have slap echo, you have all these issues in your room, and room correction can help. But the downside to that is that it's doing a lot of stuff to the signal, phase rotation, frequency response changes to make the correction, and maybe, just maybe, those corrections are doing more harm than good to the signal. So that when you take them away, you hear the obvious problems, but you're also hearing the signal unmessed with. And that actually can sound better. I've known people that believed in DSP and eventually gave up on it because they found that the cure was worse than the disease. The next one, and the final one, since I'm choking, is that three-way speakers are always better than two-way speakers. This is a very weird one to me because I think, again, it depends on the speaker. That just because you have a three-way speaker with a dedicated mid-range driver, that it's going to be tremendously better. I don't think so. And I can point to any number of great two-way speakers, the B&W 805, or Zoo speakers, the Dyno Audio Special 40, that are terrific speakers. And they have simpler crossovers because it's not a three-way design. So it's a case-by-case basis whether or not a three-way speaker is inherently better than a two-way speaker. That's all I'm saying here. I'm not saying that three-way speakers are bad. I'm just saying they're not, and certainly dollar for dollar. So if it's a $500 three-way speaker versus a $500 two-way speaker, chances are the two-way sounds better because it's a simpler design. Okay, in my opinion. So, as always, this is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. Comes up daily. And if you like it, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. And when you subscribe, hit that little bell. It's a notification. You'll get a notification every time I post a new video. And share these videos, like them, do all that social media stuff. And I'll see you again back here really, really soon.